Okay guys, we're day 2, the Oliver 550 diesel. I pulled the body and grill and stuff, which was a challenge, off. Radiator's off. It's outside. I filled it with water and it didn't leak. It's not a real pressure test or anything, but it wasn't no obvious leaks on it, although it's in pretty rough shape, but we'll worry about that later. I want to get this engine straightened out first. When I was talking yesterday about hoping it was an injector, I didn't mention anything about how it could also be a valve problem. I'm really hoping I don't have to pull the head, because the head is underneath the gas tank and you gotta take the gas tank and all the other crap off. So I'm really hoping that that's not the problem. But I figured while I had the radiator off, I'd go ahead and try to clean this thing up, and it's in pretty nasty shape. It's a 61 model, so it's approaching 60 years old. So a lot of gunk. I'm sure the front main seal leaks and who knows whatever else, but I'm not particularly worried about that now. But when I took the breather off the bottom of it and cleaned it out, I guess there was a wasp nest in there at one time, because there were a lot of oily wasps in there, as you can see. Very unfortunate end. Drowning in a pool of oil, I'm sure. So we'll get that cleaned off. I think the radiator hoses, although they're pretty fairly stiff, and I'm hoping just to get by right now where I can get this thing up and get it cranked and have it running, and open up some of these fuel lines on these injectors and see. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to ready the air hose and blow this off some, and we'll see what it looks like then. So we've got it blown off, compressed air, and you can actually see bolts and nuts and where stuff is, and you can see casting numbers down there on the block. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna put the body back on, but only issue, it's not really that big a deal. I'll find some way to secure it, but on this tractor, this Oliver, the radiator, which is outside, mounts to the body. It's got bolts that go in these holes right here, and then that's all that holds it. I was trying to take the hood off, and he kept pulling the radiator out, and I was like, what the hell? But that's what it ended up being. Once you take those bolts out, the radiator's just flopping in there, and once I got it out, the only thing holding it was the upper and lower radiator hose. So I'll have to figure out a way to secure it when I roll it outside to do the try to check on those injectors, because this thing smokes like a stovepipe. If you went to that first video I posted the other day, found that link to that video from, it was actually 4 years ago. This tractor's been sitting for 4 years. It was 2014. This thing smokes like a chimney when it's running. So like I say, I really don't want to have to take the valve covers and stuff off, because they're in the gas tank. I don't see any way to get to them without taking the gas tank off, fuel tank. So I'm hoping that I've got a bad injector, but I don't know how a bad injector will make it smoke, and it's got me a little bit concerned, because I'm really only fixing this tractor because I'm hoping it's going to be kind of simple. It's we haven't been using it, and that's another problem you have when you have like a bunch of tractors. So when this thing started acting up, we just parked it. We're like, oh, we got other tractors we can use, and then it sits because you don't need it. So there's no need to fix it, and then it just sits and sits and sits until somebody takes the initiative to try to see what's wrong with it. But so we'll keep working on it, see where we're at. Alright, so got this thing semi back together. The radiator mounts, like I said, to that cover. So when it's just sitting in here, has nothing to mount to. So I've already bumped the starter a couple times, turned the fan over. It's not hitting the shroud, so I had to put this piece of flat stock underneath it and loop this ratchet strap across the top. Try to keep it in place, and hopefully that's going to be it. So we're going to fire this thing off, and like I say, it smokes like a sieve, so we'll see what happens. Attach the muffler on there the best I could. I just got water in the radiator. I didn't want to put any antifreeze or anything in there because I'm assuming I'll have to dump it later. I'm really just testing the water of the radiator. See if it's gonna run. So, based on the evidence, we've kind of come to the conclusion that it is in fact not an injector problem, that it is a problem either in the valve train or in the rings. So tomorrow, sometime, if I get to it tomorrow, I'm going to pull the gas tank off, pull the valve covers off, see if we can see anything wrong with the valves, valve springs, or anything like that. And then maybe pull the head off. If we don't see anything problem with the valves or anything, pull the head off, see what we can see. And then we'll go from there. We'll decide how much effort and time we want to put into this tractor. So that's where we're at. I'm not going to take this to the radiator shop tomorrow because I don't want to spend any money on the radiator if we're not going to keep it. So that's where we're at, so stay tuned.